Hey everybody, welcome back to Ace of Spades Tarot. I'm Aisling, and sorry, I know it's been a while, so welcome to those of you who have visited the channel before, and those of you that are new. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe as you see fit. These will be basically, winter solstice / Yule energy check-in readings for the signs. So this reading will be for the sign of Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, or Mars, or basically anywhere Aries is prominent in your personal chart, or, in the chart of the person you might be cross-watching for. So just reminders that in tarot, time is fluid, and gender is also fluid, generally, unless I have I'm getting a message that specifically something is male or female. But we all have masculine and feminine energy, so really it could just be the energy that I'm reading. So, switch roles accordingly if needed, especially in terms of the situation. As always, take what resonates with your situation and just release, what does not. So, without further ado, let's get started. Starting with the animal spirit oracles to see what energy for Aries is like currently, please. General energy for Aries. Now this might be past, present, future. Again, time is fluid, so let's have a look at what we have for Aries, please. Aries collective. Thank you. Ooh. Spirit, please make it clear. Please make it clear. Energy for Aries, please. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Mars. Please make it clear. Please make it clear. Okay, here we have fire ant. So we have that fiery energy, but it can also be, a kind of chaotic energy. And it's certainly, ants work in colonies, they work in teams. But it could mean that you've been feeling somewhat like an ant marching, like you're just on the daily grind, wake up, go to work, come home, do the same thing, just kind of, feeling like there's nothing you're not feeling inspired to stand out in any way. But, when you think that way, a lot of times you have to remember that, as cliche as it sounds, but teamwork makes the dream work. So, you might be feeling like you're not getting recognized for accomplishments that you're doing at work or at home or whatever it is. But just remember that, one fire ant doesn't do that much. But you get a lot of fire ants involved, and they can cause a lot of either damage if you're a person and you walk into a nest of fire ants, or but they can create a stir. Let's just put it that way. So just something to keep in mind. Let's see what other energy for Aries, please. What other energy for Aries? The golden egg. Yeah, it seems like there's something that you're after, right? You're after this kind of elusive, the golden egg. It's like, it's almost this prize. So maybe it's something that you're, under inspection for, like, not inspection's the wrong word, but maybe, you're a contender for a promotion at work, or there's, a certain thing that you want to conquer, that you want to claim as yours, as your prize, and you feel like there's all this competition, right? That's what I'm sensing, this kind of feeling of competition surrounding this prize. Spirit saying no, sorry. Okay, here we go. Let's see what else is next. Oyster. An oyster, I love the oyster. It's water energy, which is good because that can put out some of the fire energy, but it's also, that same way that we have that golden egg in the middle, the oyster, it kind of sinks to the muck and it has to go through the muck in order to emerge. And then within it is the pearl, which is kind of like that golden egg that you want. But it's hard to crack, and it's hard to shuck an oyster. It's hard to crack that shell, but you can see the light shining, from within. So you have that spark and you have that fire in your belly, kind of like this oyster. It's like the oyster actually contains the golden egg. And at the bottom we have frog, or the last card, I shouldn't say at the bottom. The frog, which is, about this kind of cleansing energy. It's kind of cleansing it. The frog goes through different life cycles, right? Same as the egg. The egg goes through different cycles. It kind of it has to be hatched in order. The pearl has to be open, like the oyster has to be open for the pearl to be revealed. The frog has to go through from the egg to the tadpole to the to the frog. It goes through many stages, but it's also, the frog energy is one of a very cleansing energy. So you might be working with your heart chakra a lot. You might be following your passions. Maybe you've decided to get out of the rat race or the ant race and really follow your passions, because you know that you have within you this thing that you want to cultivate, this egg that you want to hatch. So I'm feeling like it's very much attached to your heart space, and your passion and what you love to do. So, that being said, let's grab a card from the Elki, the She Who deck. But again, it's about the energy, not about the gender. Let's see how that lines up here. Okay. For Aries, please, Spirit. For Aries current energy. What is Aries current energy? Please make it clear. Please make it clear. Aries current energy, please, Spirit. For the sign of Aries. Thank you. She who comes, or they who come, he who comes, they who come. Stillness, purity, quiet. And it's interesting because that egg is in that nest, right? It's away from the fray of that fire ant colony. The oyster is in it's solid, it's solitary, it's resolute, it's solitary, and it's in the buried in the sand, in the depths, and the frog with its cleansing nature is also kind of a solitary energy, if you will. So I feel like you're going maybe a lot within, which is, for Aries is not quite typical. But you might be finding yourself, going and using your inner wisdom. This owl flies behind her here as she wears this cloak of white, and the cloak of white and she's wandering into the water, as the owl, the wisdom, her inner wisdom, kind of follows behind her. It's kind of like, again, a rebirth, a renewal, right? This calm feeling, this feeling of peace and serenity. And so the energy I'm connecting to seems to be with those of you who are, have decided to say, I'm already out. I've made my decision. I'm following my intuition. It's a rebirthing period, a renewal period, a cleansing period, because I know that I have this golden pearl inside me. Go into the Infinity Oracle and see. Go into the Infinity Oracle and see what we have for Aries, please, and how this can relate. How this can relate for Aries, please. For Aries, please. For Aries, please. For Aries, please. No, for Aries, please. Make it clear. Okay. Codependent. So you might have felt like you have been codependent in the past, and that's why, that's why we're getting this feeling of like, no, I'm stepping out on my own. I'm going within. I'm doing, I'm kind of taking a time out. I'm listening to my intuition. So let's see, what else? Dark night of the soul. Yeah, there's nothing more inward facing than going through a dark night of the soul, that's for sure. I'm actually going to put these down here so that we can kind of go through them later. Temptations. So you might be at this time kind of, in the crossroads of you've just left this thing that you've known and you've been used to for like, a certain period of time, and you're questioning whether or not you've made the right decision, because there are all these temptations around you. There's the temptation to like, oh, maybe I don't have the money that I was making before, because, or maybe I'm getting offers that sound really good, but I know I really want to do this thing. Each of you knows what it is for you, and let's get a couple more of these Infinity Oracle cards, please. No, sorry. And see, please make it clear for Aries. Ego death. So interesting, because in recent readings I've gotten a lot of similar cards, and this is a pretty big deck of cards. So it's good. I mean, going through an ego death is something that's definitely comes along with the dark night of the soul. And there are temptations that, you have to realize you have to turn down. And being codependent it's really a kind of learned thing. If it's not necessarily a nurture thing. I think a lot of it has to do with nature. Or I'm sorry, it has to do it has to do with more nurture than nature, is what I meant to say. I don't think we're automatically born we are codependent on our mother, or our caregiver for the first however long in our life, first couple of years, and especially as newborns. But as we get older, we hopefully don't remain codependent around, we want to be interdependent. We want to be autonomous and yet interdependent. So, it seems like you're going through a kind of a questioning, an existential crisis. Let's put it that way. That's what I'm getting, existential crisis, Aries. And that's okay. Isolation, yeah. See, there we go. I mean, all of these cards are, this deck is not all these cards, but it's following along again, right along with the same thing. The dark night of the soul is very isolating. The ego death is very isolating. And you might feel extra isolated if you're coming from a situation where there was codependency, whether it be in a relationship or whether it be work. Yeah, generous offer. I mean, I'm going to say that's got to go with temptation there. And that's what I was saying. You might be getting offers, but you're realizing that, you want to stay your course, or maybe you're questioning. Or maybe it's the big question. Let's get, no, sorry. Too many. Please make it clear. Let's get a final important conversation. So maybe this is something that you've been thinking about for a while, and at the bottom of the deck we have runner, which is kind of interesting, because it's like you might feel like you're kind of making a run for it, right, by going off on your own. And maybe you're running from this important conversation that you need to be having. Again, you would know. But let's clarify a bit more with tarot. Do I want to use the Rider? I'm going to use Rider-Waite. Yeah. I'm going to use Rider-Waite. Okay. For Aries. Ooh. Sorry about that. For Aries, sorry for those of you wearing headphones. For Aries, please, Spirit. Tell me about codependent, please. Tell me about codependent. Tell me about codependent. Tell me about codependent, please. Please tell me about codependent for Aries. Codependent for Aries, please. Please tell me about codependent for Aries, please. Tell me about codependent. Oh, there we go. Yeah, giving up. The nine of wands in reverse. So I mean the 7 of wands in reverse. I'm sorry. So you know, this is again, this is kind of guarding yourself against kind of these unforeseen. You know, we don't even see who's behind these other wands, but you feel the need to guard something, probably something that's precious to you. When it's in reverse, it's almost like I'm giving up the fight. You know, I'm giving up the fight for whatever this is. And it could be that, you know, you're giving up the fight in a relationship where it's like, I don't want to do this anymore. Or in a workspace where you're just like, I don't want to do this anymore. I need to be on my own. I don't want to fight anymore. I'm tired of fighting. Can we get another card, please? Why do we have the 7 of wands in reverse, Spirit? Why do we have the 7 of wands in reverse, Spirit? Oh. I did just see the 3 of swords, so it could have to do with a relationship. Queen of Pentacles, yeah, you're focused on your grind, and you're like, you know what, you're saying, I'm giving up. I'm not fighting this anymore. I'm not. You guys can do it what you want. I'm moving on. And I mean, the Queen of Pentacles is like, you know, probably the least dependent queen, right? She's you know, kind of that pre-empress energy. She's naturally abundant. She's got her pentacle in her lap, and she's focused on it. So let's see. Anything else for Aries, please? Queen of Pentacles, Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, fortune in your favor. You know, the Wheel of Fortune always turns. The fact that it's in the upright is good. You know, meaning fortune turning in your favor. You know, at the bottom of the deck here, we do have that 5 of Cups, which is, you know, as we go into the dark night of the soul, this is kind of like the dark night of the soul, where he's kind of crying over the spilt cups here, kind of crying over maybe some past, you know, like, did I make that right? I just keep getting, did I make the right choice? Did I make the right choice? But he's not seeing the 2 cups behind him, you know, which is so important, because, you know, those 2 cups, the right partnership, the interdependent partnership, the meeting you at the same level where both of your cups are filled at the same, you know, to the right amount to match each other. That's, you know, that's what you need to be looking forward to. And this could be part of that ego death as well. Yeah, I'm going to take it out. Yeah. And at the bottom again here, like that 7 of Pentacles, you know, so giving, you know, planting your own seeds, planting your seeds and waiting for them to grow. Beautiful energy. Can I see what about this generous offer? Generous offer. And temptation. Temptation and generous offer, please. Thank you, Spirit. So, yeah. So, 7 of Swords. Again, that's that temptation. I mean, if this guy isn't the tempter, I don't know, you know, aside from the devil, but in the minor arcana, you know, 7 of Swords is you know, he's stealing off, he's walking off, he's stealing, he's leaving those 2 swords kind of in the ground, the same way the 2 cups are behind him here, and he's looking back to make sure, okay, like my 2 swords are still planted there, but I'm taking these 5 swords with me. And that's that kind of mental confusion, the 5 of Swords. And the 2 of Swords is also a mental kind of confusion in a different way. But, you know, this is kind of the sneakster, the trickster of the, you know, of the minor arcana, and is kind of that thief in the night. So definitely, if you are getting any offers that seem too good to be true, read the fine print, especially with Mercury retrograde coming up. You know, definitely read the fine print and make sure that you're not being taken advantage of. And if it looks too good to be true, it usually is. Something to remember. Yeah, look, we have, oh wow. Okay, they're saying all of these. So we have the 8 of Wands here, which is incoming communication. So You might be getting these offers so quickly and they want you to make a decision like that, like that, like that. And that's where you have to, use that intuition, that owl, that, that intuition that that you have within inside of you, that wisdom, that pearl of wisdom, that golden prize that's within you, because people might be approaching you, as here in Three of Pentacles, they might be approaching you with offers, and this person kind of doing their own thing. And this can be a building of a foundation, it can be a very solid building of foundation. But if someone's not ready, it can also be 2 versus 1 trying to kind of intimidate. And that's what I'm getting here, because next to that we have, we have the devil figure, and then we're right back to the codependent. So that's something to watch out for. Isolation, please. Isolation. Let's see why isolation is here, please. Thank you. Yeah, wanting that equal give and take, wanting that balance. It's the Six of Pentacles. Feeling like perhaps you weren't getting that before, or feeling like that's what you want to create in your life, but you need to take some time apart to do that, because otherwise things have felt maybe unbalanced before. Yeah, Five of Wands. So Five of Wands is that internal chaos. It's just kind of that, it's kind of, to me, the Five of Wands is like the Fire Ant card, where it's just kind of chaos. No one really knows who they're fighting or what they're fighting, and nothing being, nothing's fully being accomplished, but a lot of bruises. So it's isolating yourself from that. Fives are also about changes. So it's definitely I think you've stepped away from the chaos, and you're changing. You're changing your path. Look, you're realizing, okay, I have this whole world in front of me. I can hold on to the past. I'm not sure I'm quite ready to let it go yet, but you know what? I'm now seeing broader horizons. I'm seeing out. So this all really flows exactly. Why do we have Runner at the bottom of the deck? Spirit for Aries. Why do we have Runner at the bottom of the deck? Because this, because I feel like this is, well, Ten of Wands wanted to come out. Yeah, you're chasing after your star, because you're feeling like the burdens were too heavy. The burdens are too heavy. You can't carry those burdens. Once you're at the 10, you're done. You're done. You're dropping all of those burdens, like I said, because you're chasing after your star, your golden egg. You're balanced. You're alchemically balanced. You want to be again in alignment with yourself. You want to be able to have the nourishment from as she's nourishing the earth, and the flowers are sprouting, and the chakras are all shining, the 7 chakras, the stars around her, as one great star of ether kind of lights her, and she's fully accepting of herself and her nakedness. And the stars are such a beautiful card, giving, and it's like, can't you hear, like he couldn't see the star if he wanted to. Can't see anything, right? His burden is too heavy. So you might feel like you're running, but you're not running. It's a conscious decision, and I just, on the split of the deck, is the Fool. Is the Fool's journey, and you've decided to take that leap of faith and say, you know what, I'm gonna go off on my Fool's journey, and it's a beautiful journey. It can lead to the dark night of the soul. It can lead to that ego death. It can lead to that isolation. But he's not codependent. He's taking his own risks, and he says, okay, I'm gonna take a walk off this cliff, and I'm either gonna fly or I'm gonna fall. But either way, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take the chance, and I'm gonna do it. And we also have, he carries in his hand, he carries that rose, which is a symbol of purity, as well, and the lightness of spirit and the lightness of heart. And we have here the she who calms, and the purity and the serenity. And so it's and instead of the owl, we have the little dog, which is kind of like his inner intuition too, that is there to kind of warn him and guide him. So quite beautiful. See if we need any clarifiers. This is a pretty straightforward reading, Aries. Definitely not like, Pisces reading was a mess. Not a mess. It wasn't a mess. It was just, it was a lot of disorganized energy. And this is to me much more straightforward of a reading. Can I get this, why do we have this Five of Cups here? Can you clarify the Five of Cups, please? For the Dark Night of the Soul for Aries. Can we clarify the Five of Cups? No. Can we clarify the Five of Cups for the Dark? No. Clarify, please. Make it clear. Make it very clear. Thank you. So, twice before in the other deck, this Three of Swords wanted to come out. So, you might feel heartbroken about this. You know, the swords are all about the mind energy and the mind and heart, you know, the mind and heart connection. So, you know, whatever this is that you are leaving behind, and cups are emotions, it is emotional for you. It is heartbreaking, and there's no denying that. And during a dark night of the soul, we mourn those things that we leave behind. We mourn that ego death, you know, because in our lives, our egos keep us safe. They keep us protected when it's good ego, you know. But when it's hubris, it's when comes bad ego, right? So we always want to stay in our in balance with our good ego. I don't. Let's see. What is the star? What is the star, please, for Aries? What is the star? Yeah, that was King. Yeah, Spirit saying sorry. It's not star. Please make it very clear, please, Spirit. Yeah. So the Ace of Swords, which is again the truth, following your North Star, following your truth. Eight of Pentacles, working hard at doing that. And the Knight of Cups, putting your emotions, putting your emotions into it, you know, putting your, you know, making sure that when you arrive to find that Two of Cups, when you do find that Two of Cups, because you know, we always do at some point, business partner, relationship, whatever it might be, you know, you're walking towards that. And that's great. You know, you just want to be discerning. I think that's the biggest word that is coming to mind is be discerning if choosing a business partner. Yeah, and take your time. The Chariot in reverse. It's Cancerian energy, so you know, you might not be making a full decision right now, and that's okay. But you basically know where you're going, and you might be going a little slower than Aries usually likes to go. You know, Aries is usually full steam ahead, ask questions, you know, action now, questions later kind of thing. But you're actually taking the time out to weigh consequences. What about this Two of, yeah, there again, the Wheel of Fortune mirroring the Wheel of Fortune. So luck is on your side, Aries. I mean, that for sure. The wheel turns. The wheel is always turning. You know, neither time is it in reverse. Very much like the world he's holding in his hand. He realizes he can do more, or the character, you know, realizes he can do more. And yeah, I think I'm going to leave it right about there. I don't think that there's more to really clarify. Again, the Ten of Wands is out, just showing that you're so, you know, you're done with the burdens. I'm gonna end it with a you know what, we'll do this first. I'm gonna end it with a Symbolon card to kind of see maybe your blind. It's a little bit of, you know, these are kind of alternating archetypes that we have within us, you know, kind of the good and the bad, you know, because we always have, you know, we have our side and then we have our kind of our shadow side. And this might be something that you don't recognize that's kind of lurking beneath the surface. So for Aries, please, what card for Aries would you say is, no thank you, what card, make it clear, just one please, Spirit, may. Try to keep it to one. Thank you. Okay, and it's really interesting because this card looks, I mean, the comparison, right? to this card is so similar, right? And it's that kind of night and day also energy of like, you know, the brightness of this golden egg, the darkness of the depths of the oyster, but the renewal of the frog and this figure. You're just going to have to give me a second to find it because these aren't numbered. It is Pisces and Sagittarius energy. Let's see where. So you could, you could be someone with a lot of Pisces in your chart or Sagittarius in your chart. But if you want, let's see, page 69. Page 69. Namaste. So, I'm sorry, it was Cancer Sagittarius energy, so not Pisces. Cancer Sagittarius energy, so Moon and Jupiter. And it says in Greek mythology, the goddess Nemesine, sorry, it's like I can't speak apparently, was responsible for memory. Seen this way means that she is responsible for everything that has been forgotten inside you. And when this character approaches you, it is high time to recover something from the chamber of forgetfulness that sits in each soul. Therefore, this card is saying something moved you emotionally in an earlier time, wants to resurface into your consciousness again. Go out and look for it. And I think that's really what you're doing here, because, I mean, if you think about it, I'll put her up here actually. If you think about it, you're kind of having that dark night of the soul, which leads to memories coming to surface again, which leads to feelings of isolation and feelings of, remembering past heartaches and things that you wanted to shove away and lock away and not have to think about, right? And when you're in the rat race or the ant hill or whatever that is, the chaos, you don't have time to think about these things. But when you give yourself the time, that's when we start to think about things that maybe we've kind of, locked away, or shoved in the closet or shoved under the rug or whatever it is, because we haven't wanted to take a look at it. And so, but only in doing so is it that we can find, our own inner truths, our own inner star, guiding lights, our own inner compass, and begin to heal from past wounds and past hurts. So, a beautiful card, and I'm going to grab one Moonology Oracle card for you to close out the reading. In case you had like a question, maybe this can help answer it. But I think you're doing pretty well. If you're having a tough time, I fully understand, and it will get better. I promise. This is something that anyone who wants to grow and heal and be a better version of themselves, they're a higher version of themselves, a more enlightened version of themselves, has to go through at some point. Oftentimes, not just once, but many times over and over, that we need to go through that renewal period, and check in with ourselves. So, I'll get a card for Aries and their situation, please. Maybe clear spirit. One card for Aries and their situation, please. Thank you. Oh, okay, I got 3. You are good enough. Full moon in Virgo. A fiery climax approaches. Well, we started off with fire ants, so it only makes sense that we're ending with, and that's full moon in Aries. And then the last card, our emotions are running high, supermoon. We've just come out of eclipse season, and I believe our next moon is our first moon coming up is supermoon. I'd have to check. But our last, I think the Gemini full moon that just passed was a supermoon, and it's certainly a time, Gemini being an air sign is really all that sign of transformation and change, and kind of like the butterfly in a way is how I always think of Gemini. So we see the emotions here. We see we see you realizing you are good enough, you can do this. And fiery climax does not have to be a bad thing. You know, it could be. It could be if you haven't done it yet. It might be, you know, it might lead to a fiery climax if you haven't made the decision or haven't left the job or the relationship or whatever it is, you know, that you're changing in your life, to become this new, better, you know, pearl and go after your golden egg. And but and it could be emotional. So I give a big hug out to anyone that's going through any of those things. But just know that it gets better. It does. It gets so much better. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much, Aries, for letting me do your reading. And hopefully we will see you next time. If you're interested in personal readings, which are always much easier because I'm connecting with you one-on-one, my information will be in the description box. And otherwise, have a wonderful week and happy solstice and namaste.